Space Museum from the 1990s. I think it was before the special editions came out, because there's nothing about the special editions in here. It was at the National Air and Space Museum in the Smithsonian, and they had all the props and the books and stuff in the museum. So here's the front. It's a little old. Star Wars: The Magic of Myth. The Magic of Myth. It's old, so it's a little beat up. It's not the mint condition Magic of Myth. This is the copyright. See, if you want to go buy the book, that's the ISBN number. You can go buy it. We're just gonna make it. There's Chewie. There's Luke. Chapter 1. There's some introduction. This is back when they were doing a lot with Joseph Campbell. Myth and incorporating Luke into that. There's Luke. There he is on Tatooine. I didn't tear it, it just got old. There's some things about Luke is a hero. There's stuff about Obi-Wan. Dragon, Jab fight. There's CTPO. Some nice art. And that's from, these are the costumes, designs from John Paulo before Star Wars. There's Greedo and Han in pre-production art of that. And there's some more art and stuff about how it was like fairy tales. There's a nice stormtrooper picture. Yeah. And them. And there's some more costume designs. Don't use that one, but use that one. I think that one of them was Atomic anyway. And here's the old design for Chewie and Han. And there's the old pre-production art of Luke on Tatooine. And Luke with Ben. And Luke with the lightsaber. And the guys in Crouch Predator. And the swords. And the storyboards, which are really great to see. That one's at the Death Star battle. And then there's the stuff from Empire Strikes Back. It's not the introduction. We're not going to bother with the introduction because we already looked at it. Some nice stuff about Darth Vader and Leia. And there's some pre-production on the Jawas at the Sandcrawler. And there's pre-production 3PO. That's the Index, which we already looked at. I think it's kind of out of order. Star Wars. This is nice pre-production art by, I think Vivaris. He did the storyboards, and so you could see a lot of the Slash Gordon influence in here, even more than in the Quarry stuff. And there's some more characters, and there's the original Luke was going to be a girl, and that was going to be Ben, but they changed it. And so there's a planet they were going to use, and then they showed the Wampa. Okay, so the rest of the book is kind of together, so we go carefully through it. On and Leia. Hello, we're going through a book from the Air and Space Museum about Star Wars. There's Luke and R2. There's some pre-production art from Dagobah. There's Yoda by Ralph McQuarrie, was really popular. That was on the cover of the quiz book from Star Wars. There's some pre-production art and about how Yoda's, this is the Magic of Myth kind of thing. Those nice pictures of Luke standing on his head and pre-production art of Yoda and Lando on Bespin. Lando's a great character. There's Lando. That's nice. And all the darkness and the dark part, and Dark Empire Strikes Back. That's a great scene. With Darth in the carbon freezing chamber. And there's that. There's a lot of text in here. You should pick up a copy of it if you can. It's probably on Amazon. It was produced by the museum, but I bet there's a lot of copies around somewhere. Somebody has. Okay, here's the storyboards. but the battle between Luke and Han in Empire Strikes Back. And they really helped with doing the battle and setting it up. You can get all the storyboards in there's an Empire Strikes Back book that has the whole thing storyboarded down. And he falls down the thing, and then they're getting into the Return of the Jedi. There's Bosch and Jabba and Skiff Guard Lando and some pre-production art. And Salacious Crumb and Leia and Jabba back there. The Rancor and stuff about how that influenced my myth. And Rancor is the vanquishes. And the greats, they were going to have two sail barges, two, but it was too expensive. Hopefully they won't make some kind of special edition where they put in another one. But in the end, they only had one with the skiff. But this was a really cool design. So they would have had to fight all the guys on two sail barges to get away. But there was only one. And they showed about it, how that was influenced by pirate ships. There's a nice pre-production art. There's Luke and Leia gonna swing away again. And Luke defeats Jabba, as we know, and there's a dragon. And then they go to the Resurgence of Evil. This is a nice pre-production art by, I think, Nilo Rajashamaro of Lando in his general outfit. And there he is with the Num and the guys. I think Kraken's on that ship. Thraken, one of them, who wrote all the manuals for Star Wars role-playing game. There's a baby Ewok. Baby Ewoks. Oh, we love Ewoks. Not really, but there you go. There's Wicked. There's another one. And there's Leia and Han. And luckily, they made friends. And there's a pre-production art of all the Ewoks leading 3PO over into Endor. And there's a wee Ewok. And there's the production one. And they got to what the Ewoks are look really nice. There's a battle on Endor. And then there's a final battle with Luke versus Dad. And the Darth Vader and the Emperor versus Luke on the Death Star. There's a pre-production art. It's pretty close. And that's the Emperor zapping Luke and them blowing up the thing. And that was the end. This one got a little ink on it. Like, it's old. It's like 30-year-old book. Vader. There's Luke and Darth. There's them fighting. There's fighting again. And Luke. Chapter 2. There's a lot of text in here. There's Han Solo's nice outfit. This glove, which he does wear in the movie. Star Wars at least. And about how Han is a cowboy and some comic character designs. There's the one where in the old draft of Star Wars Episode 1, Darth Vader fights, I think it might be Luke, but it might have been Deke, because it gives the reason for Luke to go into action. But they changed it. They don't fight that early in the saga. There's some stuff about Mirai, which are big influence on Star Wars, especially on the outfits. Those are old Snowtrooper designs. And some stuff about Japanese art. Space agent science fiction. Some guys there's the spider from Dagobah, the costumes of Nikto and Klaatu and Weequay, the Gororian Guard, the Rancor, some Flash Gordon stuff. Flash Gordon's a great comic book, they're worth reading. And some stuff about the sets and about the Ewoks. More Flash Gordon, because Star Wars was going to be a Flash Gordon film, but he couldn't end up making it, so he made Star Wars instead. And here's all the guys. The bad guys on the Death Star. One of the best scenes. There's even bad robots, but they don't let you see that in this thing. There's the Royal Guard. There's Tarkin and outfits. and some stuff about humanity versus the machine, and TX6138. Hi, showing the book, almost done. The robot, the interrogation droid, that's a nice reproduction art of the interrogation droid. The second Death Star, chapter 3. Boom, it's Hoth, the Great Dawn Hoth. The pistols and battle. Here's some nice stuff with the ships. That's the X-Wing, that's a jet fighter. That's a TIE Interceptor. That's the Millennium Falcon. I'll show you the book again at the beginning, so you can see where it's from. That's how they based stuff on the World War II footage. There's some pilots. There's one of the Rebel Commandos. And here's an Imperial pilot. And pilots, and Luke's pilot outfit. There's Luke. Unfortunately from the holiday special, but it's okay, it was a good outfit. There's stuff with the hangar from Jedi, hangar from Hoth. And here's the briefing room. They were watching in Star Wars. Stuff about Germany, Far Eastern influences. There's Obi-Wan's. Look at how close Obi-Wan is to that real picture. And so is Yoda. And Darth Vader, who's based on that kind of hat. And then pretty Bespin costumes of Lando and Leia. And some stuff about Luke. Luke goes to Empire, he's gone to Jedi, and Jedi. Here's stuff about settings. They were going to have Coruscant in multiple movies, but it didn't get in there until episode 1. It was going to be in one of them. Hi. And now the conclusion. Stuff about myth. You really should get the book if you want to read that part. About Luke, he transforms, and he saves his dad at the end. And there's endnotes, bibliography. I'll show you that book. The index. And some stuff. There's a gun. And some more permissions. And Han Solo Carbonite. In the end, the book, Star Wars. It's called Star Wars, The Magic of Myth. It was done by the Air and Space Museum at Smithsonian in the 90s. And here's the information. So if you take a good look at that, you could see the ISBN number if you want to get a copy of it from Amazon or somebody, or from the Air and Space Museum. Who knows, you might still. They sell some books for a long time. Okay, that's all, everybody. Have a good day.